So the story we're telling is the story of how the Toldos, the Yaakov Yosef, Katz, Kohen Tzedek was a Kohen, became a Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov. So you remember the story that a shidduch happened either with his child or grandchild, with a chassid. It was originally of the Baal Shem Tov. It was originally agreed that Baal Shem Tov would be Mesadik Kedushin, but now the chassid is thinking that maybe you should call off the whole shidduch, because how is it going to be? The chasna is happening in Pulna, in the place of the Toldos, and he's not going to be Mesadik Kedushin of his own child or grandchild. But the Toldos of Yaakov Yosef said, "Don't, shidduch is a shidduch. It's okay. I'll stay away." But that night, the night of the wedding, he's trying to learn, and he can't. And he's thinking to himself, Baal Shem Tov is here. Let me go and see and check him out and see whether my position is founded or not, is justified or not. Because he was opposed, as all were initially. So it's already late at night now, and the streets of Pulna were not illuminated, and therefore he was able to get to the house where the wedding was undetected. He sees at the top of the wall, the eastern wall, there is an opening. He climbs up and looks inside. What's happening? Shem Tov is sitting below at the eastern wall. His back to him. He's looking behind him over his shoulder, and people are pressed around him, and they're looking all at the Baal Shem Tov, and he's not noticed. So he's listening very carefully to try and get something of, at least some words of the Baal Shem Tov. Then he hears the Baal Shem Tov, his voice turning, as it were, to the inhabitants, to the people of Pulna. That's the town where he's the Rav. He says the following. "No," says the Baal Shem Tov, the citizens of Pulna, "your Rav," he's referring to Yaakov Yosef, who's listening behind the wall, "your Rav is a very elevated person and Murim Ma'am, exalted. He learns Torah night and day and very God-fearing. But twice he stumbled. The first one happened on the week before Shabbos HaGadol. The Rav had to prepare his Shabbos HaGadol speech that he's going to address his congregation. Now the family were very busy with preparing the house for Pesach, and he it wasn't possible to be in his usual place because of the great tumult in the house. Therefore the Rav went to the attic to prepare his drasha. Because it was the spring, had arrived already, and the air was the attic was very the air wasn't airy, so he wanted to drink, became very thirsty, but he didn't want to disturb his family members, seeing how they were involved and occupied in preparing for Pesach. So he left the house. Maybe you'll find a water carrier and ask him for some water. In those days, friends, water was such a precious commodity. And indeed, he just steps onto the street, and one of the water carriers is walking, carrying buckets of water on his shoulder. You've seen the iconic pictures. So the Rav says, "Please, can you give me some water?" The fellow doesn't answer him and says, "I'm in a hurry to bring water to someone." The Rav became insulted and said something. I'll say what? However, the Baal Shem Tov continues to the inhabitants at the wedding there. "No," he says, "that this water carrier was a tzaddik nister, a hidden tzaddik, and the one that he was hurrying to bring water, and the others were hidden tzaddikim, who are no less in their righteousness than the righteousness of your rabbi. And therefore the water carrier was correct in hurrying to the hidden tzaddikim and not heeding his request." When the Yaakov Yosef hears the words of the Baal Shem Tov, he's shocked. How does he know all of this? It was exactly as it happened, not more, not less. But then thought to himself, maybe someone saw the whole story and told it to the Baal Shem Tov. And now he's trying to show that he knows hidden matters. He didn't have to think long, these thoughts. The Baal Shem Tov now continues his story. The second one happened, we just started tonight's a cliffhanger. On the night of Tisha B'Av, after Ma'ariv and Eicha and Kinnis, your honorable rabbi sat in shul and he's full of pain and sorrow over the Golus HaShechina and the Churban of the Beis HaMikdash. The shul was empty at that hour of worshippers. It was already after midnight. And the Rav is sitting in his corner on the small little box, greatly embittered, so much so that he's exhausted. His tears and his prayers that had come from the depth of his broken heart had their effect and pierced the very heavens, reaching the heavenly throne. In heaven above, there was a tremendous uproar from his sincere prayers, so much so that there was a clamor to send Mashiach then and there and redeem the Yidden in the merits of the cries and the tears of the Rav of Tundam. Then the Sultan came and said, we continue tomorrow. Classic Baal Shem Tov story. Okay, cliffhanger. Mendel, welcome back. Good to see you. I'll see you tomorrow, Mr. Shem.
Mr. Shem.